Well, let me begin by just complimenting the University of Oregon for being a tremendous host. This is my first time to Eugene, and everything was just run in a first class manner. I mean, everything. The facility is beautiful. Uh, the administrative aspect of it, everybody treated us in a first class way. And I cannot speak in greater superlatives for the coaching staff, Mark and his staff, and the quality of the players for the University of Oregon. I know I've been on the other side of this many times, and when your season comes to a finality so suddenly, and especially in such a close game, heartbreaking way like that, it's hard to rejoice too much when you're on the winning side because you know what they're going through. They pour their heart and soul into it every day, and when they come up short, it's just, it's devastating. And they had such a great year and such a great ball club. And I don't know if everybody noticed, but they took the time to go shake hands with our team after the game, and they didn't just go through the motions. Every one of their people, starting with the coaching staff, complimented our players and said such nice things. It was so first class. And when programs are run that way, they ultimately get to the top of the mountain. And even though today is a disappointing day for them, when you do things the right way, ultimately things always go your way. And I compliment Mark and the first class way he runs his program. There's nothing but great days ahead for them, and I compliment them in a big way. So I know they're hurting right now, but these days will pass, and they'll have good things ahead for them. On the other hand, for us, obviously this was a tremendous accomplishment, to lose the first game of the tournament and then to come back and win four straight elimination games. I just remember so much that after we had lost that opening game to Gonzaga, and then the team came to the field the next day to play Central Connecticut State. And I had watched a couple of innings of that game, and they gave Oregon all they could handle that opening game. I think they had 16 or 17 hits. And I knew Charlie Hickey from my years at Notre Dame when he was at Providence, and I knew that they played hard and they had tough kids, and they were going to give us as much as they could, as much as we could handle. And I knew our kids were down from the loss the night before, and we had a short turnaround, and our kids, showed just a lot of resiliency coming out that next early morning to get ready for a 1 o'clock game. And they played so hard, and we got that win behind us. And then yesterday was such a long day, and I'll just never forget the effort Javen Coleman gave us out of the bullpen to allow us to win a hard-fought game last night over a really good Oregon team. And then tonight, it was just such a wild game. We had so many young pitchers that we ran out there, and I'll tell you, we got off to a good start behind Gavin's home run, and then our young pitchers would fall behind in counts, and Kenyon got into one and hit the 2-run homer, and then then their Zavala, the really great ball player, man, he goes opposite field and hits a home run to give him a lead. And they just got a really good team. And when our young pitchers fall behind in counts, they would hit them. And we fell behind, and then Drew Bianco gave us a lift with the big home run, and then they came right back, and I'm trying to remember, Kenyon hit the home run. I guess I got confused. So who hit the first home run for them? Zavala hit the early home run, I guess. So I just remember it just being back and forth, and it was a great ball game. And then we got very fortunate there when, Dugos led off with a walk, and then Cade Doty chopped the ball over the first baseman's head. Sometimes in baseball you just get fortuitous bounces, and that was just a good lucky bounce. Luck is a residue of design. Sometimes Cade went the opposite field. They're playing him shift to pull, and rightly so because he pulls the ball so frequently. But he just had a good inside out swing there and bounced the ball over the first baseman's head. And we ended up with second and third, and then Cade Belosa put the ball in play, and Gavin got a great jump off third base on a contact play, and and a bang bang play at the plate, and we got the call at home, and then there was a lot of cat and mouse game there with first and third. We had the safety squeeze on, and they were doing a crash with the first baseman. I took it off, and then I think they got their signals crossed a little bit there, and the pitcher ended up balking, and Jordan ended up coming through with the big hit, and obviously that run ended up being huge because they rallied and scored a run. What can you say about Landon Marceau coming in out of the bullpen and saving the game for us? It was just an awesome victory for our team, and one for the ages for us to be able to come out of after losing the first game and come back and win 4 straight and winning this regional championship.
All right, we'll get into questions. Let's start with James Crappier from the Oregonian.
Paul, you touched on the cat and mouse there. I get what they were going for and what you were going for. Because he's a lefty, in essence, can you run that play? And have you seen that play run successfully by a lefty? And if they're throwing a righty, can you run it the same way? Because obviously it's the runner on third that's matter. Everybody thinks they're going to first so many times. Fans were chiming in and don't understand. It's not about the runner at first. It's all about the runner at third. Have you seen it run successfully by a left-hander? And if it's a righty, can you even do it?
Well, they were doing it extremely well. You could see that how well coached they were doing it, and it was basically taking it away from us. And they were making the moves over there to see if our batter was, showing that he was going to bunt, and we did have it on, and the first pitch was a ball, so we didn't bunt it. And fortunately for us, if he had thrown a strike, we would have bunted the ball, and they probably would have made the play at the plate. So we actually were very fortunate that we didn't bunt the ball. And after that, I actually took the play off, and we were going to just have Jordan hit. And, I'm not sure what happened. You'd have to ask Mark what happened, on the balk play where, their first baseman was crashing. I don't know if he was fake crashing or was actually coming in for the bunt or not when they made the move. When you make a move to first base and your fielder's not covering the bag, you can't throw to an unoccupied base like that. That's why I'm sure they called the balk. I'm not sure with a right-handed pitcher if they would have done it, and tried to execute it the way that they were doing it defensively. I'm not going to divulge secrets about what we would do defensively, but they were doing a really good job preventing us from being able to put a safety squeeze on, and they were going to force us to have to hit swing the bat to drive in that run there. And after the balk, Jordan came through with a big hit, so who knows what would have happened.
Glenn West, LSU Country.
Coach, we've talked about Gavin a lot, but just the performance that he's given you guys the last 2 nights against this team, it's really kind of one of those performances of the ages, I guess is what you would call it. Just what has he meant, these last 2 nights to you guys to pull out these wins? Well,
Glenn, as you followed our team, he's been doing it all year for us. He's had just a phenomenal year, and he was the MVP of this tournament, and rightly so. He's just been amazing, had an amazing season for us, go all the way back to the opening weekend against Louisiana Tech. I remember him hitting a grand slam to tie the game, and he's just done that all year for us. The final weekend at Texas A&M, he had big home runs. Throughout the year, he's done it. We don't win this regional tournament without what Gavin Dugos does for us. So, that's what happens in the big ball games. You expect your best players to step up for you, and that's what he did for us this weekend.
Wilson Alexander, the Advocate.
Paul, just the emotions of this. You went into the stands and it looked like, I think, hugged Karen, and I think maybe you got the game ball after the game too. Just to know that your team is going to keep playing, that your career is going to keep going. How does this feel right now?
Well, it's not about me at all, Wilson. It's about these young men, and they're the ones that they're the reason I coach. Is to work with young people and to help them learn how to be successful on the baseball field and later on in life. And a lot's been made about my career coming to an end, but I've had 39 wonderful years. These kids only get 3-4 years in college, so I'd really prefer the focus just to be on them. And it's a great experience for them. I tell them, the greatest thing is the greatest opportunity they have is to go out there and play a college baseball game and to win a baseball game. The second best thing is to go out and play a college baseball game and lose it. A baseball game, at least they had the opportunity to be out there. Not everybody gets these kind of experiences in their life, and they have to keep it in perspective. So, it's it's sad that, there has to be a loser in a ball game because, both teams are out there trying as hard as they can. I hugged Kenyon Yovan after the game, and, he had tears in his eyes, and, I love that kid. I had him for 3 weeks with the USA team, and, he competed so hard, for the United States of America when I was the coach of the team, and we developed a very close relationship just in 3 weeks together. And I hated to see him, feeling such pain tonight, and so, it's hard to gloat when you are victorious because you know that there's pain on the other side. But, in time, I think those Oregon kids will realize that they had a tremendous season and that they've done wonderful things here, and their life will continue, and they'll learn from these experiences and be grateful for what they have.
Go to Michael from WBRZ.
Coach, a lot is going to be made of the offensive plays in this game. I know you did have the one error, but can think of some big plays in the outfield that were made, some infield plays that were made. If you would speak to your team coming up big defensively.
Well, I think Alex Milazzo made a couple big plays again on throws, and Drew Bianco, besides a home run, I think he made a couple of really outstanding plays in center field. I think Thompson, I know he had that, bad error with Edwards on the mound, but he turned a beautiful double play once when he went in the hole and started a double play. So, it's a tough game to play, and these kids have a lot of pressure on them. So you expect them to play perfectly, but, they're young men, and, they can't do it all the time. It's unfortunate. Again, sometimes the games are decided by mistakes, but these kids are all, a lot's expected of them, and, sometimes they're not perfect, but when they make great plays, they should be highlighted. And I'm glad you asked that question, Mike, because, there's always outstanding plays on the field by both teams.
David Foles, Rivals.com.
Coach, walk me through the conversation you had with Landon in the ninth. Devin's ready. Devin, I mean, when you're watching the game on TV, it looks like he's going to jump the fence to try to get onto the field. But just walk me through why stick with Landon, and did he fight to stay in? Walk me through that.
I just couldn't take the ball from him, David. He's been such a competitor all year. First of all, he wanted to pitch so badly tonight, and I really debated a lot about whether or not even to use him. I very rarely have used a guy like that on 2 days rest, and he was basically pleading with me, for the last couple of days to pitch tonight. And I even talked to his parents to make sure that they were okay with it. And, we were going to limit how much he threw. I didn't expect to have used him even for as many pitches as we did, but he looked so sharp, and the game's on the line, and obviously Fontenot's been great, but Fontenot's pitched 2 days in a row, and I just thought Landon was throwing the ball outstanding against a great hitting team, and I just at that point, that was going to be his last batter, and I'm glad he got him out, because I would have hated to have to go out there and take the ball from Landon, as hard as he was competing out there. Is that enough?
Got time for 2 more.
Okay.
Let's go to Kevin Batiste, WAFB.
Coach, your team has been in playoff mode ever since the home series against Alabama. I guess just talk about their resiliency, their toughness over this last month, and just being just gutsy in this tournament, and just over these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, I'm sure, have counted us out. I mean, that's what happens. Baseball's not an easy game to play, and sometimes it looks, like you're not even trying when you fail. But it can be a very humbling game. The kid from Gonzaga pitched a tremendous game from us against us the first night, and I'm sure that there were people out there, just giving us up for dead, that night. But our kids were trying. Sometimes you just tip your hat to the other team and the other players, and that's what I did after the game. I knew that kid just pitched marvelously against us, but our kids have shown great resiliency. They keep battling as hard as they can. Sometimes it doesn't go the way that you want it to, but the other teams are good too. They give scholarships and they have great coaches and great players as well. Somebody has to lose a game, and fortunately for us, the last 4 games we've come out on the positive side. But we're just going to keep battling. I'm glad we get to keep playing, and we're going to go to Tennessee next weekend and give it everything we've got, and hopefully we can be victorious.
All right, Coach, we'll wrap it right there so we can get to your players. Thank you for your time. Best of luck at Supers.
Thank you.